Sherrie McDargh, and I am the gardener here at the community pantry, Hope Garden in Gallup, and we're going to do gardening 101 and show you soil first. As a gardener, the first thing I need: gloves, water, and of course my apron, because I stuffed every single thing in here, from your cell phone to whatever. So in the winter time, this is what our garden looks like. And every one of these strings that you see up above, it used to be a tomato last year. So when you grow tomatoes year after year after year in the same spot, you need to condition your soil. You need to put good nutrients back in it so you have success for the next year. So if you've ever seen one of these tools, this is called a broad fork. And what we do, we'll move all of our drip lines, and what we do is we broad fork it, or till it. If you have a tiller, that's great too. But you want to break up any of the old hard soil. And then we're going to put new compost, straw, manure, all back into this soil. And you can see it's still a little bit moist in there, but it hasn't been watered in probably 2 months. We start October, November, December, and part of January doing this to every one of our rows. And then we put new manure, new straw into it, all organic. And if you have one of these, it's great. It's called a broad fork. But you can tell the soil's getting better and better. And this is what you kind of want. You want loose dirt. All of this straw helps the roots go around, and they're not constricted and don't go nowhere. So if you have a bed, any size bed, you can start by composting your own dirt. The way we do that here is the pantry has a lot of produce that's not good enough to give to the public. It's rotten. It'll go into, you can put like maybe some pallets. You want to throw straw down, manure, your old produce, straw, manure, cardboard, and after about 3 or 4 months you're going to have soil that's worth growing in, especially if all you have is sandstone or clay. You want to mix it up with a bunch of different stuff. And if you have good soil to start, you'll have a little success. Around this area it's hard, but it might take you 2 years. This has taken 2 years or 3 to get back to really good soil, but that's what you want to see. So if you don't have one of those broad forks, you can also just use a shovel. You want to get as deep as you can with your soil and bring it back up to the top. Year after year, your soil will get softer and softer the more organic matter you put in there. For watering, we like to use these drip lines. So if you water the root and not the plant, you'll have better success. Tomatoes don't like to be sprayed, so you want to get the water right on the surface when you're watering. In here we water every other day, about an hour. The drip lines are real slow, but they get it real deep, so they will actually come back themselves. This here's probably been, like I said, 2, maybe 3 months that we watered it, and it still stays pretty moist. So once you get a drip line, you're gonna water less because your soil is gonna stay moist down below. If you get any of these worms, that tells you right there you got good soil. You want those worms. Look, there's more. Worms are excellent to keep your soil aerated. So, loving to see all this, yay. Yep. And worms will come on their own. You don't have to go buy them and put them in there. Normally they'll come in. But if you do buy some, they'll propagate really quick. So the best way to water If you can't afford this, at least put your water on the ground, not on your plant when you're watering. Rainwater's the best, so if you can catch some rainwater off your house, it's like gold. So here at Hope Garden, we save the rainwater. It comes off the top of these big roof. It goes into this big black tank, which has 2,500 gallons of rainwater. Rainwater is gold for your plants. So if you can save it at home, the better. And then we put it through our drip lines. It will start coming out of the tank. It'll go to one of these channels, and then I can tell it which bed to go to, out of what tank and which bed to go to. And then put your rainwater, I'll tell it to go to bed number 4, hoop house 2. And this will turn on and it will water this. It'll also go to this bed, and you can turn your valves on and you can drip line everything to your beds. When you're watering, you don't want soggy, you want moist. So if you can come by and stick your finger in and it's moist, you're good to go. You don't need to water. Now if it's pretty dry, like it is right here, you can tell this little corner's wet, this little corner is pretty dry. So you'll want to water when it's dry, and when it's soggy, you want to leave it alone. This is all parsley from last year. What we're going to do is just clean it all out, water it, and it'll start growing again for us. Hi, this is Sherrie again at the Hope Garden, and we're going to talk a little bit about seeds. We talked a little bit about your soil, and now we're going to talk about the seed that you actually want to put into your soil. When you go shopping for seeds, you're going to find a whole lot of different kinds. From the 50-cent ones clear up to the $5 ones. Here at the Hope Garden, we're all organic, so we try to buy all organic seeds. A lot of these are organic, you will tell, but you want to look for that, because a lot of times your seeds are going to have this coating on them. It is organic, it's non-GMO. And what this little product is, it's clay. It's natural clay they put around the seeds, because the seeds are so tiny. I guess it helps them out with where to place them, and you'll be able to see them versus little tiny specks where you can't see. But if you don't know what the non-GMO is, this is what I usually do. That's why I have my cell phone in my pocket. And Google is a great place to go when you don't know something. You just ask it a question, it's going to let you know. What is GMO?
According to Wikipedia, a genetically modified organism is any organism whose genetic material has been altered using genetic engineering techniques.
So it'll help you out with a lot of things. If you use your phone, go to Google. It'll tell you all about the product that you're actually putting in the ground. So all of us here, we usually go to Johnny Seed to get a lot of our seeds. One, we get more seeds in a packet versus this one. So this one here is going to give you a whole bunch more than any of those little ones. Now, of course, if someone gives you a bunch of free seeds and you look at the date on the back, and the date is going to say 2021. Seeds are usually good for about, I want to say 4 years, as long as you've kept them in a dark, cold area. Seeds don't like to get too hot. Seeds in your refrigerator is fine, but you don't want them to get too moist or wet, because then you lose them also. So this is how we do when we're looking at seed packets. And it also tells you on the back germination dates. This here is going to tell you how long you're going to start seeing that little tiny seed. This is going to tell you how tall that plant is going to be. And then, of course, the spacing. How far apart do you want each seed to be? And then how long that's going to take before you actually get the product, the tomato, the zucchini. This one says 70 to 75 days. So you know that you want to start it sooner. You might want to start it inside the house, especially in this area, in your window, kitchen sill. And when it gets a little bigger, by the time our last frost is here, you will be able to put that in the ground and get a head start on it. So read your seed packets carefully before you actually just throw them in the ground. Because if you want to make a lot of space in your garden, let's say you want to put carrots. Carrots and tomatoes are really good together. They're kind of a companion plant. So, okay, so on your seed packet it tells you want this full sun. So you want to make sure, which is tomatoes, you want to make sure they're going to get full sun almost the whole day long. 7 to 10 hours, 8, 10 to 12 hours is awesome. Then you're going to look at the depth of the seed. They only want it down 1/4 of an inch. Your spacing. So what we do with our spacing is you'll see this string right here. And we usually plant tomatoes all down the center here. And our spacing, you're going to put the string here. What we do is we will poke a hole. And we will put the seed down like 1, 2, 3. And then we cover it just barely. And then we're actually going to put a little bit of potting soil over the top of that seed right there. Whenever this plant starts getting a little bit bigger, like you'll see this one here starting to come up, you'll have 3 seeds to pick from. You can probably take 2 out, and then you'll have that one real sturdy plant. You can keep on putting little clamps right here and hold that tomato real tight as it gets taller. In this general space you can plant a lot. So like I said with the carrots earlier, depending on how tall you want them to get, you can plant carrots all next to your tomatoes. Tomatoes are here, carrots will make a row of carrots here. And then you can pick them as they get big enough, or you can leave them for the whole full season to get really tall and bring you those seeds that you want for the next year. Then you still have a little space here. We like to put lettuce all down real close to where you can actually sit here, cut it about every week and a half, 2 weeks. And once you cut, and the next week you'll cut the next part of it. 2 weeks will be high about, I want to say maybe 12 inches at the very most. But most times you're going to cut it when it's here. So your access to your lettuce is right here next to you as weeks go by. These here, like it says, 75 days to maturity. This one here, the maturity is, I want to say 20 days to harvest, 30. Within about two months for sure, you're going to have it real nice and thick right here with all kinds of lettuce. And this is kind of how we start most of our planting. Okay, so when you're planting your lettuce, you've got this all in here, lettuce, so that you can just come along and cut it as needed. And then of course you have your carrots right next to your tomatoes, because they're pretty good companion plants together. So you're going to be able to put all these carrots all down here. What I like to do to keep pests away, because pests are really a big problem, is pests don't like things like marigolds, onions, garlic. So you can also put your onions in a row here. It gives off a smell and it kind of keeps the bugs away. You're always going to have a bug problem. And organic grown. Now we use manure for our fertilizer, and so a lot of times you'll get bugs from that if you're not watering drip. If you're spraying everything, you're going to get a bug go from this plant to this plant. The best way to get rid of those bugs is just spray them off with water, or grab your fingers, get gloves like these, and just rub them off. Rub off the bugs. But kind of know your bugs, because there's more good bugs out there than there is bad bugs. Ladybugs are awesome. They can eat so many bad bugs per day. So if you're seeing ladybugs in your garden, you know you're going to have a great year, because they will eat all of those bad bugs and they'll leave alone the good bugs most of the time. So this is the best way to keep bugs away, is to have these or marigolds. Marigolds give off a nasty smell that bugs don't like. And of course then you'll have all those seeds for next year, and you can never hardly ever buy marigold seeds again, because you're just going to cut off the top of it, the little flower, let it dry out, pull it out of the center, and you're going to have yourself so many seeds. You're going to be giving them to all your friends. So if you don't know what to do with your rotten produce, eggshells, coffee grounds, any uncooked stuff, the ends of the celery, your potato peels, just come and drop it off right in here. Just get rid of your plastic bag. We don't want that. But throw in all your stuff here and we'll put it to great use. If you decide you want it for your own home, that's the best. Just put it in a blender with a little water, put it outside in your soil, and it'll decompose faster than you know, and it'll help your soil 100%. So here at the community pantry, if you don't have a place to grow your own things, you can come here. You can rent a box. There's $75 for the full season, which is April through November 1st. And I can give you advice on how to grow, what to grow. I can help you with your bug problems. So what happens is you get one of these boxes for the $75 for the year. Every box has their own water spigot. So you can come during daylight hours and you can come and water Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If you're out of town, you can call me and we'll water it while you're gone. But the soil here is conditioned every winter. And what we do is, let's say it's September, October, and some of your plants are getting too cold. We'll take the straw from over there. We'll put it all on the top and keep it warm for them, for the plants, trying to keep them lasting longer. And then at the end of the season, we till all of that in, like I was showing on the indoor one. And then we add manure and keep it moist. So you can see the soil here. We use the broad fork. And you'll see pretty deep down, there's even some of the roots. That's good conditioning for the soil. So you can just, it'll just all come in. Everything's all done like this. And then all this soil is ready for you to grow in your own garden. There's a sink there for washing off all of your produce. We have boxes for the veterans. Most veterans will get their box for $40 a box. We have access for wheelchairs. We have access for whole groups. If you'll see, one of the box number 12 over there has a hoop over it. We have one of the young ladies that comes and gardens and helps us out volunteering here. And she put plastic over the top of hers, and she's been growing carrots all winter. She does have to haul her own water because in the wintertime we shut these off so they don't freeze, but she gets a 5-gallon bucket and hauls it from the top to down here, and she's got carrots. So come on out and enjoy the experience of learning how to garden. Any questions you have, I'm here to answer them.